Oh shit, here we go again.
Low, low, man. Low, low, man.
You like contracts, right? You're a contract guy.
I read contracts instead of conventional pornography, yes.
Look, here's the thing.
Fine. Listen,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
And they're still fucking nerds.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Andrew Esquire. This is the Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Hot from Asia at midnight. Oh, midnight in Bangkok. It is a good time here tonight in Bangkok, and I'm here with a lot of stories to cover for you nerds. At midnight, we got Amouranth, we got the kind of Twitch girls, Cinna, Emiru, Valkyrae, and everybody else who's involved in that kind of situation. We've got Destiny Court updates, and then we're throwing in a little Hasan, a little ending of Hasan, a little bit of trash taste and their reaction. I'll comment on that at the end. So a little bit of everything today. It's a little bit of a grab bag. Wanted to make sure I commented on these. A lot of people have asked me to comment on a bunch of these topics, so I figured I'd hit them in one big multi-stream. I will be traveling to Korea very shortly, so I will not probably stream before I go to Korea. There's a chance I could, but I probably won't have time to. So I wanted to make this stream for you to cover all these burning questions. Then, of course, as soon as I get to Korea, we'll be focused on coverage the day before Johnny's trial as well as after. So kind of what to expect, what we're going to go through, the charges. So I'm going to run through all of them and give you guys kind of a more detailed timeline of when things will play out. And yeah, we'll go through that all tomorrow before the trial. But until then, we're just going to hang out tonight, have a good time. Smash a like button as you come on in here. I see Ava, my elf friend in the chat, who when we get her Starlink, it'll be great. It'll be great. But thanks for coming on before, Ava, and helping me out with the Destiny stuff. That was real fun. Also, we have some base gifters. Doug Diaz with 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Yes. Masrova Palma coming in with a big 2020 Legal Mindset memberships. I mean, that's just too good. That's so good, and we gotta play.
Oh yeah, that's what I like to see. Oh yeah.
Let's play the long you go. It's been a while since I played that one. Let me play that clip too. This is a good one from for my cover fans.
Long.
Too good for all the cover fans out there. But appreciate that, Masrova Palma. Thank you for the 20 Legal Mindset memberships. Rigo for 10 says 2 streams. Here's a little gold for blessing us with the shower. Appreciate that. Shout out to everybody who joined me earlier for my Johnny Somali stream. And shout out to everybody who's here. And also to all my locals people, JP Ravenfire, Vegihan. Appreciate all you guys joining for both streams, which was really awesome. Also, I see that we now have a special badge because I have been deemed this by the internet. So I feel like we now have an official badge courtesy of locals. This is our official. Yep. Okay. Yep. This is good. This is good. This is very good. I own this. People try to shame me with this. I'm like, I absolutely fucking own this 100%. Once again, this is
I'm not sorry, and I did nothing wrong.
very much a situation I own. But thank you very much for that, locals. Very base. Thank you so much. Rayobi said, will this be an 8-hour stream like back in the Niji days? And here's some shower. Thank you so much. I haven't had a stream where I've needed to go 8 hours. Although with the Destiny stream, we went like over 3 hours, I think, on that one, which was very long. I'll go as long as you guys have questions for me. So if you have topics and questions, I go as long as you guys want me to go. And frankly, if you guys, had stuff that took me 4 hours to review, I'd do it. I mean, I got nothing. I mean, I'm not saying I have nothing better to do, but I'm here for you guys. And this is a time my streams where I block out for you, especially this stream where I don't have an end cap on it. So if we had to go 8 hours, we could go 8 hours. But I think we'll probably go more like 1.5 or 1. We'll see. We'll see how much time we have today. Marksman for 117 says, I'm about to bust a cap. Capping who? Capping who? Who you capping? Who are you capping? But anyways, anime law, definitely own it. Thank you so much. I'll put that up there on we gotta make like an SVU mock, like a mock SVU with like anime weeb unit, with like I pop up and then Ava's in there. Who else can we put in the weeb unit? There's a couple other people that have to be in the weeb unit. We gotta have like a very diverse weeb unit. There's like the police officers, there's the investigators, there's a lawyer. Like there's got to be a whole weeb unit apparatus. Gator, oh yeah, Gator, yeah, he's one of the investigators, that's for sure. Rima, yeah, Rima's our transportation. Parrot is like our journalist, or like our PR guy. Parrot is our PR guy. Kirsha is the crazy lady by the water cooler. Jinblade says, I hear you're telling me to make this meme. I mean, I'm not forcing you, but I'm voluntelling you, Jinblades. Who's the Asian in the buddy? That's Emiru. You didn't know? That's off of her Instagram. She has good cosplays. I'm once again, I don't watch any of these streamers like regularly, but when I was going to get stock images of them to use for the thumbnail, I was looking at Emiru's cosplay. I'm like, she's a good cosplayer, like objectively. I mean, as a bit of a weeb who maybe has seen a cosplayer or two, she does a good job objectively. Clickbait thumbnail. Nope. We're going to cover it. We are going to cover Amouranth. Before I get into it, if you want me just to like leave you on a resting Amouranth photo to like not make it clickbait. Here, we'll just leave it on an Amouranth photo one that won't get me demonetized. I think we can do this one without inside the world of hot tub streamers. That should be all right, right? This is an article by Refinery 29. So we'll just leave this up here. This should be all right. We'll just leave this in news view. There you go. That should be all right. Should be kosher. All right. We'll leave a little Amouranth up there for people's distraction while I answer this. Sigrun says, can you sell those as patches for cosplay, airsoft, or other dress-up purposes? That would be great. Like an airsoft or like paintball patch where you stick on the side of the uniform of like a special weeb unit. Oh, that'd be so based. We gotta work on that. We gotta work on merch. I have to say my weakness is merch, but that's too good. That's too good. It's too good. All right. King of Monsters, do not make me take this photo down. Okay. All right. So we're going to go over these several topics today. I appreciate everybody being here. And thanks to everybody who joined for both streams as well. So we're going to get into the Amouranth home invasion. So, I will say before I get into anything, with most streamers, I have a little bit of a bias, and I have to disclose that bias. I have a bias towards not believing them. And that's because I generally believe that, as content creators, we all tend to be a little bit on a scale. We can be hyperbolic, and I'm no exception to that. Sometimes I can say things and I can make them come off in a more extreme way, right? We can all do that on one degree or another. Now, there's I think relatively innocent levels of that, like maybe a clickbait title, right? You can get mad at it, but everybody uses clickbait titles and nobody stops watching people over clickbait titles. That's just a fact. But then on the other end, you can go on the extreme end of content creator and create fake controversies, oftentimes maybe a fake rivalry. And these things can even get into the legal field where you threaten to sue each other, or there's fake fights, or there's things that can look like defamation or slander. I mean, it can go pretty extreme. And even we have seen content creators essentially do things that are illegal, but for clout. And if we look at Ramsey Khalid Ismail, he's kind of an extreme example. Content creators for the clout, because they believe in the power of the clout, and because the power of the clout is so strong and powerful, are willing to do even illegal things for clout. So I am a little bit predisposed to thinking, okay, a content creator is content farming when they are posting stuff on social media, particularly if they do not report it to police. If it is something that is criminal and they don't report it to police, I am extraordinarily biased against it. And I think it's almost fair at this point. We've even seen people like Jack Doherty. We saw with like when he was driving a car and he crashed it essentially through his recklessness from streaming. And it seems almost like the crash was what he was intending to do for clout. That's the type of really reckless and dangerous behavior that we can see from content creators. And once again, I'm saying with the Jack Doherty incident, that's how it appeared it might be. Whether it actually was that way, we cannot conclusively decide. I don't believe there's been a conclusive decision on whether Jack Doherty crashed his car. I believe it was a McLaren, whether he crashed it intentionally or unintentionally. I'm sure you guys remember that. We covered that in this channel. King of Monsters 1954 with the Gunnar glasses. I got you, bro. I got you. People do make exaggerated claims. They do make, extreme attempts to do things. And when Amouranth made a post today, and the first thing I saw from this post, the very first thing, and this is what everybody saw, and we're going to go into all the other posts and everything else, but the first thing I saw was, I'm being robbed at gunpoint. I'm being too robbed at gunpoint. This was the post. This was the post she made. So when you saw that post, my gut instinct is that this is full. She's full of shit, and that's just my gut instinct. Or at the very least, I need to see the Carfax, right? Because she's done a lot of content farming in her day, and she's not innocent of that, right? And my comment would be, why are you posting on social media? Why don't you call the police or, text a hotline or text somebody that could text the police? Why do you need to post on X? So my instinct was that way. But then we got a bunch of other posts, including posts by other people, which seem to corroborate. So, she starts posting stuff like that. Police outside. Well, implying that a police report was filed. That's one I saw immediately. Then start posting this type of stuff. We'll watch this video. It's a longer video. I'll watch in a second. Let me scroll down, actually. This was first. I'm covered in blood, but only some of it is mine. I'll update y'all later, but I'm safe now. Was at gunpoint. They gave me phone and said, log in with gun to my head, and I tweeted because calling would be a death sentence. So that to me was a little bit questionable. And then says, I believe I shot one of them. They wanted crypto is what they were yelling. They pulled me out of bed. So she says she shot one of them. Now, remember this. She says she shot one of them. This is a very interesting point that she posts here. Amber says, this was a home invasion. SWAT here. Now I'm safe. So there you go. Then shows up here. They kept shooting my bedroom door. They finally kicked it in, showing the bedroom door. A trail of his blood along the driveway, forensic testing. And then there's this video. So let's play this video. And real quick, the narration of this is 3 gunmen. He screams, I got shot after. I'm not supposed to post the scene itself, nor the casing, which are evidence. They beat me before this video and pistol whipped me. The pummeling felt like it would never end, and I protected my head and putting on my arms. And I learned how to do in boxing. Blood was streaming down my head, and my hands were beaten brown. They brought duct tape and masks and were armed with handguns. So let's watch this video. So, and I've got a larger version of this video, but you can see this is kind of like one of her home camera videos. So you can see in the middle, she's running.
Oh, right here. It's in here. I'm so sorry. Come on.
So one does say I got shot. They say open this shit, and they run out of there. So okay, let's see. I think I have a better version of that. Let's see here. Yeah, here's a better version. Let me play it one more time. One more time on the with the large screen, right? Here's the bigger version. Zoomed in. Now, one thing that's very curious, since we've watched it once, I'm gonna pause it here, is they're all running across this, and they're not like, this guy's not holding the gun to her head or like forcing her across or anything. Like, she's running ahead of them. So apparently she's being held down, and they had duct tape and all this, but they didn't use it. They allowed her to run freely with her access to, everything without, and like even to enter the home before they did. Very interesting. I mean, either very low IQ or whatever else.
Come on. Go.
Definitely a gunshot. And then kind of the end there, just the dogs barking. So very interesting. Very interesting. So I at first was very suspect of this. I'm gonna be honest. Real quick, Inori says for 38 Hong Kong, I was in the theater watching a stream before, and a new Gundam movie started, and now a new stream starts after the movie finished. That was Deja Vu. No, you are not hallucinating. This is double mindset for the evening. I even have a new suit on. Look at that. So to not confuse you, I had gray earlier. We're blue now. Dabu dee dabu die. All right. So this was actually confirmed by the police, which I thought was interesting. Now, to be fair, and let's be very fair about this, the police confirmed Jussie Smollett's situation. So if you remember Jussie Smollett, Juicy Smooth, who is one of the cases of false reporting, right, of staging events, where he said that two people in MAGA hats at 2 a.m. in downtown Chicago beat him up while yelling, "This is MAGA country." Two white supremacists who were white beat him up while yelling, "This is MAGA country." It turns out it was, I think, some Nigerian brothers that were paid by him to beat him up to create a staged event. The police sincerely investigated it for a while. So the police will sincerely investigate something, even if they're not going to know it's staged right away. They're going to take you on your word. They're going to take you to your face and look into that. So they could put this information out there, even, if it was one way or another, authentic or not. Yeah, this is MAGA country. Yeah. That was a very hilarious case. But when I saw them confirm it, I'm like, well, this at least happened, and there was a police report filed. And now at this point, if it was staged, there are serious consequences for Amouranth. She could face jail time if she was staging this, falsifying a police report, falsifying statements, which lends me to believe her more, because it now carries heavy burden. That doesn't mean it's 100%, it's not possible, but the belief is absolutely higher. Let's see here. And then from this, there were also others who commented on this saying this was authentic. One of the ones that was more believable, and that's been been more quoted, is Donut Operator, right? Who has some police background, and says, spoke to some folks, this 100% happened. And he said, no sarcasm, she was robbed by that dude. And then goes on to say in a separate comment, though, which was very interesting, saying, I would like to point out, though, that she didn't fire the shots. And then Ian Runkle, the elf, the law elf, the other law. Well, I don't want to call him a lolly. I don't think he applies it to himself. He's an elf of the north, an elf of the northern forests. So our northern elvish friend, he says interesting, and he details, and he responds, husband popped them coming through the door. So if you remember, she said that she shot them. That's a very interesting detail. She said that she shot them. And mind you, donut operator used husband, in which case I am genuinely wondering if this is the same husband that allegedly, in case you guys forgot, was forcing her to do adult content and threatened to kill her dogs. So the same husband that was, forcing her into pornography and threatening to kill the dogs, was also the one that stepped up and protected her and shot these robbers. Very interesting detail, very pertinent point. But at this point, it would be a lot to say, hey, it's staged, and it would end up with some serious consequences if they did get caught. But I want to hear what you guys think in the chat. So, like, in the chat, knowing all this information, because I'm now giving you pretty much all this information, knowing all this information, real or staged, and I'm not gonna let you fence it on this. I want you guys to give a real honest opinion. What you guys think? Let me read these super chats though. Mayhem says she seems to be jogging at best. Seems staged. I really think if you have a gun pointed at your head, you're either going to be in a scramble or you're going to try not to move fast as not to make them shoot you. So, or whatever, or they'd be subdued or you'd be subdued. It just doesn't, it seems like a weird scenario. Now, look, once again, I haven't been held at gunpoint before. I've had guns pointed at me before, but I haven't been held at gunpoint before. Rigo says for 10, those shots were slow and deliberate. Typically, from everything I've seen in self-defense situations, shots are fired faster in fight or flight situations. Yeah, that was a really interesting question. Rigo, what I was debating was if the husband had the cameras for the house and he knew where they were coming and knew where she was leading them, and she kind of set them up to be shot. Like she's like, oh, I'm gonna, she took him in a way, and the husband saw them coming, and he waited and he popped them. I mean, that's a scenario that I could believe, without a doubt. I could certainly believe that. But that would be a lot of patience and trigger discipline on the part of the husband. So it does raise a question. Doug Dimiodo says these days it seems like police put it on the internet so the internet autists can go through it for free. Honestly, it's not a bad idea. By the way, I got an email yesterday. I'm not going to say who it is or the name of the person, but somebody got mad about my use of internet autists or quote unquote weaponized autism, which I use only as a positive reference, right? In a completely positive manner to depict the absolute amazing ability of people on the internet with the most minor of details to figure out people's locations, which is going to be very relevant for our next topic when we're talking about the streamers getting cited at the Santa Monica Pier, which, by the way, if you're going to go somewhere, the Santa Monica Pier is probably one of the worst places because it's very, very iconic, right? I'll leave a little Amouranth here for you guys because, I know what the people want. But I use that term endearingly, and I'm not going to censor myself or change my language, because if you start censoring yourself or changing your language, you end up not saying anything at all, and the world ends up silent. So for anybody who does not like the term internet autists, I just got to say,
Not a sin. I cannot absolve you. Mega based.
ain't changing. But yeah, no, I think they are putting it out there for people to solve it for them. Let's see here. Sparky's Text Corner 499 says, looks to be a Tom and Jerry robbery. Just need to yell with the bad guys leaving the house. I mean, it could be really incompetent. And I mean, people are stupid, so don't underestimate stupidity. That is possibility, and I leave that open to the realm of possibility. I'm going to be fair. I'm not convinced either way, but I have a leaning towards, well, there's a police report, so it's probably a little bit more on the side of being legit. But I mean, the chat, you guys, 63% of you think it's staged. So, and looking at, some of the comments not lining up, and also the video, I could see stage two. Not all dogs are attack dogs. Some just run around. Oh yeah. I had a dog that was so kind and nice. It passed away, unfortunately, RIP. I miss you, Lucky. My old dog, Lucky, my boxer. She would have licked a robber. It didn't matter. Like they should have licked the robber to death. Like there's been no point at which that dog was like attacking anybody, right? Most dogs, I think, especially modern dogs, are not attack dogs. That or they're just like barking at everyone. Like they're a small dog that barks at everyone. In which case, it's not functional as a guard dog or even a warning dog, because they're just going to bark no matter what, right? Silbury says, what's up? If real, social media unwellness. If staged, social media mental unwellness. Joke's on you. Those fence posts feel good on my crotch. Thanks, Silbury. Thanks, Silbury. I know you like sitting on them. Silbury. Hey, thanks. I really appreciate that. Gasparius for 5 says, was there a time skip between her entering the house and leaving? That seemed too quick, and Hubby was just waiting to shoot them. That's just a clip. So she's claiming that she can't show anything else. She's claiming that's all she can show because the rest is evidence. But I don't know. I mean, it seems like there's other stuff you might be able to show. I don't know, like how about the when they like first broke in and when they first like snuck in, or maybe when they like caught you and were beating you, like how did you get with them in the first place? You were outside and you led them to, I guess, might have been the garage. So maybe she was going from the main house to the garage, but I really don't know. It's very interesting. It's Kyle for 5 says, where is she coming from going to two? Why was her husband not in the same room and house that she was sleeping in, even in separate rooms? I don't know. Maybe they have that sort of relationship where they sleep in separate rooms. Maybe she was streaming. Maybe she was in the goon cave. I mean, who knows? Are there pictures of her with injuries? According to the police reports and the news reports, she had injuries. So I want to believe she did have some sort of injuries. I haven't seen a photo of her with injuries. So I haven't seen that yet. It may be out there, but I haven't seen like her level of pistol whipness, because she did claim to be injured. So that would be a thing that you would want to see. And I didn't see that in the post. I saw other stuff. I saw OnlyFans is free right now. But I mean, I didn't see anything else. Right. Oh yeah, there's one more here. Let me switch this over. Sorry, I'm just looking above. I'm just keeping above. OnlyFans is free. I can't scroll down here, ladies and gentlemen. I know, I wish I could. But this is not a prank help. So this is the I'm being robbed at gunpoint. This is not a prank help. My OnlyFans is free. It's the next one before that. Sure. Hey, listen, chat. I know you, okay?
Degenerates. You guys degenerates.
But I haven't seen any of the injury photos. I'd be interested to see those. Shadow19869, thank you very, very much for the memberships. Very base. Yes. So much. Let's see. Bad News Badger for 50 Danish krona. All 3 running out. Shooter had a bad aim, not able to down at least one of them with the element of surprise. Yeah, that'd be real bad. But I mean, maybe he just doesn't train that much as a shooter. I have no idea about his shooting prowess. Secret Attorney for 5 says, you couldn't pay me enough money to stage a robbery where I might get shot by a real cop from a real firearm. Exactly. So you're going to rob a house with what looks like a real firearm. So you're carrying a real firearm. You're going to rob a house. and then you're going to run away and have a chance to get like shot while you're just running away. Yeah, no, we're going to go with no on that one. But is it possible? I mean, Amouranth has a lot of money. She's very rich. Is it possible? Yes, but I wouldn't do it. I was a Nightfall for 50 Norwegian krona. Says, I wear my internet autism with pride and my real autism under my coot so as to not be too antisocial. Hopefully. Yeah, I think people underestimate how many, like, I get written by all the time, like, people that are like, yeah, I have autism and I love your show and I don't take offense to that. It's like 1 out of 200 people. And usually they're very, very normies that are just like tourists to one of the topics I've covered. And they wander into the chat and they think that I'm going to be, you know, Sesame Street meets, I don't know, the Joy Reid show, RIP, right? That's not what we have here. This clip is going to be analyzed like Elisa Lam. Yeah. Repton for 5 says, as long as we don't have more concrete evidence, people keep doubting this is real and presume it's staged. Also, Sobri is based. That's very true. Sobri is based. Tatsumi for £10 says there is a potential for inconsistency for who shot the robber. It could be that she did not want to mention her husband given the past controversy. Tweeting while being robbed is stupid, though. Exactly. But frankly, you shouldn't lie when it's coming to describing a crime scene because it's going to look really bad. And it could also be a crime, too, if you're lying about what happened. So you got to be very, 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 very careful about that. And once again, I don't see the point in tweeting publicly while being robbed and not, I mean, once again, messaging someone privately or saying, hey, can you call the police? First of all, the public doesn't know where you live. I mean, maybe some people do, but most people do not know where you are, right? So most random people are not going to know exactly where you are. Mayhem for 5 says, no fence sitting. You're the one to tell us to wait for more information. I know. I get to do it, and you don't get to do it. See, that's the power. That's the power of being.
Oh shit.
I'm joking. No, I lean on the side of real, but I have big doubts in my heart. Okay. Mike Estacio says, Amouranth doxed. How could they find her house? I'm sure that people have doxed her on certain places on the internet. I'm sure, I don't know. I haven't seen her doxed personally, but I'm sure that people who are really, 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 you know, can closely look and find it. I mean, they certainly can find her now because they have her gate in the city she's in. So that gate and the city she's in and some details of the neighborhood based on the camera are enough to give away where she lives. So I'm sure if she wasn't doxed before, she's doxed now. Kiernath is saying she's doxed everywhere. Danielle says she's doxed. Yeah, if it ain't on the farms, it's somewhere. Yeah, it's somewhere. It's got to be somewhere. People know. Mayhem for 10 says, as a competitive shooter, I agree with whoever mentioned the rate of fire. It's odd. Much slower than a self-defense rate. Statistically, in defense shootings, most shots past 10 feet will miss. Yeah, most gunfights are within like a few feet. So it's not this, you know, you're usually at the range and you're shooting at targets at, you know, maybe 20 feet or 25 feet or something like that, right? You're usually going to be getting in a gunfight, especially a pistol fight, you know, in like 3, 4, 5 feet between you. It's not going to be a lot of space between you when the pew-pews are going off. And when you're that close to somebody, you're going to be panicked. I would panic. I mean, and I'm a trained, at least I haven't shot in a while, in over a year, but when I was in the US, I would go shooting every other week, you know, usually with my pistol. Some do skeet with my shotgun. But, you know, I would consider myself a pretty disciplined shooter, but that's a situation that would freak anybody out. It's a home invasion. It's at night. You're freaked out. You're probably going to, you know, rip off a couple of rounds there. Brian Dogue for $9.99 said, it would be a shame if it started raining. Oh, yeah, getting that golden shower going. Thank you, Brian Dogue. Appreciate that. And also said, 12 months, time flies. Yeah, congrats to everybody who's been here for 12 months. Appreciate you for being here with me. Is she in the U.S.? Yes, she is in the U.S. Yeah, and Ava says, I love Donut Operator. Yeah, I mean, look, I generally trust him. And him saying it happened leads me to believing that there were people that broke in, but it doesn't conclusively prove that they weren't paid to do so. So, you know, I would still want more proof that to make that conclusive, to make that absolutely 100%. There's no doubt in my mind that this is, you know, something that was not at all concocted, that was not all made up. I'd really want to see that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You lit it off a 9mm in a confined space. Yeah, it's not competitive shooting. No earmuffs is a good point. So you're going with no earmuffs, no eye protection, none of that other stuff. You're lighting somebody up in the dark, maybe, you know, 3, 4, 5 feet away. Yeah, no, that's a totally different scenario. Mazurva Palma for 10. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. You know, there's some people out there. Old Destiny tonight.
Emotional damage.
Don't worry, we're gonna get to old Destiny. Mayhem for 5 says there is what's considered the rule of tens. Within 10 feet, 10 shots fired in under 10 seconds. These are the averages for self-defense. Yep, that is very, very true. And you know, most people they talk about like fast reloading, but I was reading this book by this cop. I think it was a New York cop that got in the most gunfights. I think it's called The Gunfighter, and he was saying he always just carried extra pistols on him, because there's no time to reload in that situation. You just pull the new pistol and start firing. Like, no matter what, you're not going to, even if it's a real, you know, like some sort of speed loader or whatever else, you're not going to have time for it. You're just going to go for the new gun and fire. So good. It was a good book. It was a good read. It was a while ago. I read that like 10 years ago or something. A while ago. All right. So let's move on to the IRL streamers getting harassed. That's a good one. Garfield says, who's worse, Destiny or Johnny Somali? I think Johnny Somali is worse, but Destiny has more of an audience, and he still has an audience. So, you know, you could say that Destiny has a bigger potential, but Johnny Somali is definitely worse. I mean, for now, for what we know now. Let's see how Destiny's trial plays out. Let's see how the accusations play out. We want to see more evidence. I have more evidence on Johnny Somali than I have on Destiny. What I have on Destiny is not as deep as the amount of evidence I have and I've seen personally against Johnny Somali so far. We'll see though. We'll see. Jordan Keith for 10. By the way, that doesn't make one of them good and one of them bad. That they're both. I mean, Destiny has its own flaws, but yeah. Generally miss lives due to timing. Glad I can see this one. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I try to space them out at different times. Some of them are in the morning because if it's catering to Korean topics, like Johnny Somali, they will be in bed by now. So I need to do it earlier. But I want to do it when people wake up in the Eastern Coast so they can get it. And also when people over here in other places in Asia are still off from work and stuff like that. So, and then of course, Europe, you just do your weird Europe thing. I mean, I really can't plan for you guys. You guys are all weird, but I love you. I love you. And there's a freakish amount of Europeans in my chat. It's almost like Euro trip in my chat, which I'm not going to say I have anything against because, you know, Scotty still doesn't know. Rigo for 5 says, we like to call that the New York reload. Carry multiple guns because it's faster to grab a new one. Yeah, exactly. And apparently it works. Andrew's going to ignore us Hawaiians. I mean, hold on. I'm just gonna play.
Excuse me, sir. What is your ethnicity? I am interested in calling you a slur.
No comment on Hawaiians. All right, let's continue. I like poke bowls. Okay. Let's go. I love all people. Okay, I love all the peoples. Okay, fuck. You guys making me laugh. Why are Hawaiians so funny right now? Okay. So Valkyrae, Emiru, and Cinna were harassed during an IRL stream, and they got stream sniped. Now, we're going to watch the video, and we'll talk about this. But I'm going to be honest with you that a lot of content creators, especially ones that have made a certain level of popularity, you have to understand that you now are a celebrity and you cannot treat your life like you're just a normal person who's not a celebrity. And if you see people in Hollywood, they don't go around and do things the same way that normies do. They don't go to public places generally and stream that they're there without security provisions, plans, etc. Right? If Tom Cruise was to just roll out and be like, yeah, I'm just hanging out at Denny's. You know, anybody can come down and see me at Denny's, on Sunrise Boulevard. There's going to be a swarm of people there. It's going to be a flock of people. If, Gal Gadot is like hanging out at a nightclub and she's like, yeah, I'm here and it's free entry and anybody can get in. And if you come in, you can talk to me, whatever. Like tons of people are going to simp on down and go talk to Gal Gadot. But that's why they don't do that. They generally very private lives. When they're out, they cover up, they wear sunglasses, they wear masks. In fact, one thing I take from a lot of Korea, and I actually realize in a lot of the very wealthy neighborhoods in Korea, you don't see people's faces because they might be famous or an actress or honestly just really attractive, like super attractive. So they're wearing a hat and almost a full face mask where you can just see their eyes. So, a lot of times, like you'll have somebody who's probably very famous, but they're all covered up or they're wearing a hoodie and glasses, whatever, right? Because they don't want anybody messing with them. They don't want anybody bothering them at all. Yeah, people say Keanu in the subway, right? Andrew needs a Denny's meetup. Yeah. And look, this is what I'm going to say too. Even for me, I get recognized in Bangkok, Thailand, at least once a month. And that to me is a little weird because I'm in Bangkok, Thailand, and I'm like, all right, I'm on the other side of the world. Generally, most of my audience is in America. So it's, it's kind of interesting that at least once a month, sometimes twice or three times. And sometimes it'll be like in a bar. So it'll be like in a place where I'm with my friends in a bar and someone comes up to me and like, are you Legal Mindset? And I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, sorry, guys. God damn it. Yeah, that's me. I'm the degenerate VTuber lawyer. Yep, that's me. You got me. I'm also a kaiju. I'm like 6'6", so you're gonna like 2 meters. So you're gonna see me when I can't really hide. So it happens. I'm also not a female though. If I was a female streamer, I would be extremely concerned about people trying to find me and come after me. And yes, that is a special concern that they have, right? It's like a benefit burden. Like benefit, there's ways they can make money that dudes can't. Burden, you have to deal with security issues that a lot of dudes don't have to deal with, right? Like I never feel intimidated by anybody. I know that it's not going to be a physical problem, particularly in Asia. Because once again, like gun crimes aren't really a thing here. No one's going to knife me, right? They're really coming up because they really just like my coverage and they want to say hi. I've never had a bad situation in person where someone's like, your Legal Mindset, fuck you. Nobody's ever done that to me yet. But yeah, everyone in the chat, you're huge, bro. Giant Florida man. Yeah, exactly. So I will say there's a point at which you can't walk around like not covered up and you can't IRL stream where you're at. And there's a reason why I think people shouldn't be IRL streaming at a certain level of popularity, particularly a group of females, right? Without serious security, like multiple dudes that are there to screen them out and to block off what they're doing. It really isn't safe as a procedure. And if I was their lawyer, I would say you're being reckless. Like it's a reckless thing to do. Nor77 says Legal Mindset Waffle House meetup when? I actually thought about it. Somebody brought this up. I think I may do a Legal Mindset like Songkran meetup in Thailand. For those that know about Songkran, it's a big festival here. I think I might do a Songkran meetup. I think that'd be fun. For those that are in Thailand. Let's see here. Okay, so let's watch the video. So here's the full interaction when they got stream sniped and this guy interacts with them. Now, this is, I'm going to warn you guys, this is kind of cringe. In fact, many times it's very cringe. So we're going to play this 2-minute video.
Yes, please. Oh, God. Oh, God, yes, I didn't see it. Can I sing for a change? A change for the better? as you would say.
Okay.
And the chain would be for her number. If
Oh.
you'd like it, can I get your number?
I don't have a phone. I'm sorry.
Wait, put your number in mine.
I don't know how to use a phone. I'm sorry.
Wait. So I'm gonna keep following her. I'm gonna keep following her.
Another one.
So at the point in which you say, so sorry, this is so cringe. I can't even look at this. When the girl says no, and that's a very tactful no, bro. Like at first, that's a super tactful no, a very tactful no. And we are at a point in which there's peak lack of calibration, peak like lack of social skills. And I don't want to be on the other side of saying, well, make it a crime for a man to talk to a woman in public. No. I'm not on that team. I've never been on that team, period. But at the point at which she's kind of said no, you kind of got to fuck off, right? Like, I mean, you asked twice, so once and then twice. But when someone says no, you got to kind of take that as an answer. And after that, it's kind of over for you, bro. Sigrun says, after the Kiki Hime thing, yes, that was really bad. I covered that. I don't blame any female streamer celebrity out in public being a little bit paranoid. No, I don't at all. And honestly, it's unfortunate. It sucks, but it's a reality. And because it's a reality, they have to deal with it and plan for it. And it sucks, but you're not going to change every human in the world. You're not going to change dudes. You're not going to change people simping for you. And once again, it kind of is also the nature of parasocialism, that parasocial relationships with e-celebrities, and of course VTubers know this very well, parasocial relationships where this guy probably thinks that he knows them so well, but what do they know about him? All they know is he's a creepy guy on the street. They don't know anything about him, and he thinks he knows everything about all of them, right? So let's continue to let this play out.
No, you're gonna have to get in line. There's too many stalkers.
That's not how you really riz.
Bro, what the fuck?
That's not the riz.
Get behind me. Okay. Oh my god.
Kendrick.
Wait, are we getting churros?
Kendrick, add it into the list.
Thanks for coming in, lady.
Thank you so much.
See you tomorrow, and take care.
Well, at this point, though, I will say when they pass the security, if he was still following them, they could have said something right there and been like, "Yo, security, like, can you get rid of this guy?" Right now, this is pretty obvious where they are, also based on all the landmarks. So people could go out here and find them, could go out here and stream snipe them pretty easily. You're at a very easily identifiable place, very easily identifiable location. King Conda said for 5, I'm honestly surprised more streamers don't have some kind of security. Yeah. Terrence Buttcipher for $2.99 says, what a nice face to wake up to. Happy 4:30 a.m. Oh, happy 4:30 a.m. Thank you.
Can we get churros or no? Yes, right here. Oh.
You can also get them from the vendors.
Ooh, it might be better with the vendors. I didn't see any churro vendors though. Did you?
There is one.
You need, yeah. Do you want some sunglasses? You like these? Incognito time. Stand behind me.
Probably should have been like that the whole time. I mean, to be honest.
I'm gonna keep following her.
Yeah.
Where's your little Glock? I mean the lighter. I'll beat him if I have to. Forgot we're in public.
Yeah, wait, it's California too. I mean, you gotta be careful with the gun laws.
No, I'll beat him. I mean,
okay, it seems like there's a little time skip there, so I think this may have been cut, but
what's good? I think we're just gonna go.
Let's go. Oh, no, we're not. No.
Hey, excuse me.
so the guy's yelling, "I'll fucking fight you right now." So he's like yelling that in the background.
No, Emily, no.
Hey,
stop!
Whoa.
Let's fucking fight right now.
What?
Right.
Get away from
Hey, what's going on?
Security!
He's harassing us.
So the security finally does show up, right? But it does take a little while there.
What's going on? What's going on, man?
I'll kill you right now. I'll kill you right now.
The guy's yelling, "I'll kill you right now."
Security, please, please. Security.
So, and then a couple seconds later, okay. So if this was a situation that where it really was at risk and the guy was making a threat, I will say I would have not stood there and kept filming. I would have put the camera away and dealt with the dude. Right? I wouldn't have stood there and kept the camera rolling for the content. So that's just my comment on that. My comment on that. I will also I'll do a poll on this one as well because we did one for Amouranth. So let's do this one for the Emiru, Cinna, and crew threatened by sniper, real or fake, or real or staged. Put that poll up right there. It's a very, very interesting situation. Now, of course, I have not seen a police report here. So would be very interested to see whether there's a police report. Drop the camera to throw hands. Yeah, exactly. Because I'm assuming it was a man, and I'm assuming there were some men there with them, at least like one. And if you even have a shred of dignity, you would get in the way of that, or potentially step in there. Ryobi for $6.99 says, worth to know some countries don't have strong restraint orders like what one the Dono mentioned with Kikihime. Granted, she is a gaijin in Japan, but still, well, what happened with Kikihime was insane. And frankly, the Japanese police didn't take her very seriously because she was a gaijin, right? And they're like, oh, whatever, she's just probably overreacting. But this is a situation within the US, and it's a situation with like US parties all around. So it has some different factors, but it still does deal with the specter of stalking, which is a serious problem. Alpire Ava with the yellow, getting a little gold up in here, a little gold. I completely agree with the problem. Here is one. They are not the cameraman. And two, it is very difficult to respond quickly and appropriately when this kind of stuff happens. I believe this was real. Yeah, and that's fine. Look, I'm not saying I am 100% convinced either way. I'm perhaps a bit of a fence sitter, but I will say I did have some questions here. Perhaps this was, milked for content a little bit more than it should have been. Maybe it was real, but it was milked for content a little bit more. And you are right. Sometimes people don't know the exact right thing to do. And what seems like multiple seconds doesn't, and it seems like a long time when it's on video, is actually just a split second. That was one of the things that came up in the Kyle Rittenhouse case, where what seemed like a very long encounter was actually just a couple seconds, because the fact of the matter was people were pausing things and slowing them down to like what is it? Like a very slow-mo, like a quarter speed or an eighth of the speed. And when you play something at a quarter speed or eighth speed, it seems like, oh yeah, you had forever to do that, of course. But that's not the reality. When you're in this, adrenaline's pumping, you do act differently. That is very true, Ava. And I want to recognize that. Permaseal Finishing says, I found you through Nikki Rackets and enjoyed your takes for years. I'm glad I didn't know how to super chat back then when I thought Rackets was Pope. His voice makes me literally cringe. Yuck. Hold on. I got you.
And they're still fucking nerds.
But I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you did find the way to the channel and to ultimately to gain protection under the gentle and forgiving wing of Anime Law Special Weeb Unit. You are always welcome here. Dun dun. All right. Daniel Smith for £5 says, there was a cut. Emily asked permission to confront the stalker, and they all said yes. Oh, interesting. That is an interesting cut. Okay, so Emily went over there to confront them. That's interesting. Some of the chat says, I think it's real. Okay. Let's see what the poll says. Let me look back here. So 66% of you think it's real. So this is actually much different than the situation with Amouranth. Most of you guys think this is actually real. 426 votes. I'll leave it up for a little bit, see if that stays the way it is. Daniel Smith, got that one. Sumina says, did you see where the girls first met him? When he introduced themselves as Russell and they took pictures together, even with the camera guy? I didn't see that part. Now, at first, what I did see and what did pop out to me was when they first were with him, they had all of their hoodies down and they were clearly who they were, right? So like Emiru, when she was walking around, if you saw her from a distance, you would know it's her. Like, oh, that's her. And at the end, she's wearing sunglasses. She's in the hoodie. She's like looking more incognito. And I know somebody said people do streams there all the time, but are they as big? Are they, do they come with security team? Do they come with people screening them? Like, what goes on when those other people come out there? I know you can film content there. I know it's possible. But there's a difference between a streamer that's got 50 people watching and others. I was in Thailand here. I was in the elevator with a Russian content creator, which is a girl, extremely hot, like 10 out of 10 hot. I'm speaking all in Russian, right? But I managed to get like the view counter, and there was at least a couple thousand in her chat at the time. And I caught her doing the flip, like the phone flip back over to me. But I guess she didn't know I was like a content creator and I'm not like afraid of the camera. So when she did that, I just did the to the camera because I'm not afraid of that. And like she laughed and like walked off. But yeah. Obviously, sometimes there's safe places to do, and sometimes there's non-safe places to do things. Of course I'm gonna troll. Like, come on. Is Emiru an e-girl? Yes, they're all e-girls. LM about to be a Putin support. I'm gonna put on the hat, guys. I'm enlisting. Me and the North Koreans. We're doing this. We're taking Kiev, guys. I'm just I stop learning Thai, start learning Russian. Privyet. There's actually a lot of Russians in Thailand. A lot. There's also a lot in Korea, but there's also like a good mixed population of like Russian Koreans. It's a minor thing. Did you get her number? No, I did not. I did not get her void contact, her V contact, or her telegram. Although I am getting a lot of text messages from Russians saying that I did not pay my tolls in Florida. Apparently, despite not being in Florida for 5 years, I've accumulated like $60 in unpaid tolls that I need to pay to a Russian email address. It's really weird. Nahan, the combat ace enjoyer, says, I wonder why they didn't call the authorities right after. I would call the police immediately. Like, forget about the security. I'd call the police. If someone made a death threat, I'm on the phone. I mean, because in California, you really can't, self-defense is less of an option in California. We'll just say that. Less of an option. Ty Sticks says, off topic, Hasan Piker banned by Twitch. Yes, finally banned. We're going to go to that after we get to Destiny. So we're going to segue over. We're doing a little segue here. And I'll end this poll. Most of you, once again, think that was real. So we're going to segue from getting sexually harassed to potentially being the sexual harasser. And that is, of course, the allegations that are against Mr. Stephen Bennell. That is, of course, Destiny. And he has been very much attacking a lot of the commentary on his case. Of course, I have been one of the ones commenting on his case. So has my good model and sandwich loving friend, Sean, who is my good homie. And someone said, watch the reaction stream. Send me the reaction stream. I looked for it. I didn't see any other stuff. And I don't think I'm stirring drama. I'm commenting on the scenario as per what should be legally done in the scenario, right? That's not stirring drama. I'm just saying, hey, look, if you're in that situation, you should contact law enforcement, right? You should also file a police report, and that will help towards the authenticity of your claim, right? Let's see here. So going back over here, chat is full of Emiru stamps. That's fine. Look, I think her cosplay is great. Once again, I have no problem with her. I have no beef with any of them, one way or another. I am very apathetic towards all of it. I'm just saying that, and most of you think it's real. So there you go. Piker's already unbanned. That was not even 24 hours then. That was like 6 hours. Are you serious? So he got unbanned after 6 hours. Dan Clancy, like, did he go personally to a personal visit? Well, we'll get to that later. Shadow Imagery as a new member. Welcome. as a new member of the BLM, the Based Legal Mindset. I love it. I love it. Thank you for joining at the highest level. Yes. Like a 15-second ban. Yeah, 24 hours, 3 minutes, and 12 seconds. Wow. Dan Clancy, balls of steel. And by that steel, I mean gelatin. Anyways, in the case of Bunnell versus Jane Doe, which we have here is the good old court listener. You can look this up. This is registered in the Southern District of Florida. It's a federal lawsuit, and it is for civil damages. Now, we had been telling him you need to file a motion to appear because right now it looks like you don't have an attorney. And he kept reeing and reeing, I have an attorney, I have an attorney. And we said, okay, well then file a notice to appeal. It's not that hard. It's not that hard, baby girl. And finally, he does it. Finally, he files a notice to appear for his attorneys. We have on March 3rd, notice of attorney appearance on behalf of Stephen Bunnell, Patricia Marie Patino. We've got them Prohak Vichang in, Andrew B. Bretler. We've also got Jake A. Camara into the court. So he's got attorneys. He's got real attorneys. They seem to be fairly competent in their area. You know, we'll see based on their filings. I'll judge them based on their responses because he does have to file a response here. So I assume that's coming, and we'll review that when it comes down. But he got really mad at all of us for saying he needs to do this, and it's like, dude, it's very obvious, and it's like just basic courtroom procedure. But he proceeded to attack everybody as saying they didn't know what they're talking about when, well, it was exactly what he ended up having to do in the ultimately. So very interesting, obviously an update. The next thing that we'll look for a response. So he needs an answer to their complaint. So obviously it's going to be denying what they said and denying what the facts that are put out. But I mean, perhaps there's a counter narrative and perhaps there's even counter claims, right? That are brought up. I saw Nahan for 10 says, I saw Amouranth have worse response towards Emiru incident like ever on Twitter. He said, if you see someone say men are creeps and you feel offended, you are self-reporting. Oh, that's kind of strong. Look, I once again, I try not to be extreme about these things. I don't think it should be a crime for men to talk to women or for women to talk to men, whatever. I mean, I think men and women should be able to talk to each other like normal people. I think that's not illegal. I know the UK has certain laws that prohibit talking to people on the street, etc., engaging with people. But that said, I don't think it should be illegal. I don't think in America it should be illegal, at least under U.S. laws, a U.S. attorney. But at the same time, I do think that there is a point at which when you tell someone to go away, they should go away. And by the way, that's universal. It's for men and women. If a man is being harassed by another man and he says, go away, go the fuck away, I think that there's a point at which you have an obligation to do that and to leave that person alone. Otherwise, you're stalking them, harassing them, making threats towards them, right? Tuzret, as a new member, welcome. Appreciate you for joining the RPG. And Tatsumi said, Dan Clancy got it from under Hasan's table to appeal the ban. I know it. He was down there for a while. Yeah, he misread. So Destiny misrepresented what I said when he said he doesn't have a lawyer. Well, he was shopping around. He was shopping for a lawyer and he had not filed. And see, watch this. Now I'm going to correct my statement. Destiny has lawyers. See, when he does something correct, we pat him on the head and we pat Tiny on the head and we reward him and say, yeah, you did a good job, little buddy. You did a good job. Good job. Good job. Because you just need to have a motion to appear to officially have a lawyer representing you on that matter. That's just in court. That's what it is. It's a basic procedural step. So we'll go over what he has so far, and I look forward to the case. I mean, I think it's gonna. I think there's a need for there to be a strong amount of evidence submitted by him to beat this at a motion to dismiss. He's going to need a good amount of evidence to rebunk it. We'll see what he's got. All right. Do I have everything here? Don't beat him. He might like it. Says that. Okay. let's go on. So let's get to the Piker ban. I was going to talk about this a little bit more. This is very interesting. I also want to talk a little bit about Trash Taste and their take, kind of to wrap this thing up and put a little bow on it here. Although this has been very fun. I like these multi-topic streams. And I had a little segue, and it was a segue to Hasan using Destiny. Yes, I'm going to use Destiny to get to Hasan. So this actually is a comment by Destiny about Hasan's comments. Let's play this.
I'm sorry. I'll choose my words carefully next time and say, if Mike Johnson cares about Medicare fraud, since he wants to cut $800 million from Medicaid/Medicare, he called for max punishment for current Florida GOP Senator / former Governor Rick Scott, who's done the most Medicare fraud in U.S. history. People were asking me to watch this clip on stream when Hasan said these unhinged things. I did not cover this, though, because fuck Republicans. And I actually don't give a fuck what happens to any of them at this point. So I will never, ever, ever, I don't care how much I hate the person, I will never cover somebody who is saying unhinged shit about conservatives, because fuck them all. Okay.
The back. So that's your boy Destiny there, who once again endorsing illegal behavior, because what was said could very much end him up in jail. And in case you weren't watching, these were the statements. This is just a little clip, but I'll play the clip. It's a little short.
$50 billion estimated that are lost every year in Medicaid, just in fraud alone.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid.
Sorry.
How do you establish villain motivation?
One second. Messed up that clip. Okay. Don't scroll, Andrew. Don't scroll. All right. Let's do it one more time. Don't scroll with YouTube Shorts. Can't scroll. Let's continue.
Dollars estimated that are lost every year in Medicaid, just in fraud alone.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott. Okay. The reason why I'm saying if you cared about Medicare or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott.
So he says it twice. So not just once, but twice. So that's a real strong statement. Once again, I think most people who, and maybe this is something that people who are on the middle or the right-ish or the not what the party line was for the last 4 years. See, the thing is, you could get away with saying a lot of stuff like that for a long time, and now you can't anymore. If it was about people you didn't like, right? Like you could say, I can go delete this person because I think they're a Nazi. And you could get away with that because you added the word because I think they're a Nazi to the end, right? Versus if you even said the word like, we need to resist the oppression of COVID mandates, you were thrown in jail, right? Or you were locked up, or the FBI came knocking, right? Like if you even used some sort of language for a while, there's a period of time where that was very much true. You definitely should not be going around using the word KILL. I don't even want to say it because we're under 2 hours and the YouTube algorithm will pick it up. You don't want to be using that word kind of generally as a streamer. And to not know that means you have lived a very entitled streaming career where you have not been held accountable to the terms of service, because using that language on any platform is a violation of the terms of service. It's, once again, whether it directly, indirectly, implication, whatever else, it's talking about direct violence against a person. Shouldn't be doing that. There's kind of not, it's kind of obvious, right? So, someone who's been a streamer for more than 2 seconds, particularly someone who has a large platform, should know that. And I will play, he did have a owning up to this being hyperbolic. So let me play that. Someone in the chat brought it up. So let me play that. Let me play this clip here.
I think Asmongold is covering this because he wants Twitch to see it.
And I will say, I think Destiny has been, move on for Destiny. I think Hasan has been a little bit too focused on trying to go aggro against Asmongold. It seems kind of cringe and desperate. But that's just my 2 cents.
He's done this a couple times in the past couple of weeks. I understand. We are ideologically butting heads on Twitch. Asmongold and I disagree vehemently on a lot of issues, all the way from the history of Nazi Germany down to the fact that immigrants are not actually contributing to the American crime rates in the way that the Republican administration presents it. They're not destroying our culture in the way that Asmongold approaches the subject matter. There's plenty of disagreements there. And I think that he's doing this deliberately, I will say, in an effort to, shit stir a little bit and try to get me banned, which worked.
The clip's too short. Maybe it's out of context. I hope so. I definitely do. Hopefully it's out of context.
Now, once he said this, does Asmongold go back and seek out the context? No, he doesn't. Instead,
well, okay. I wasn't going to interrupt it. I like to let this play out. There's a lot of times I could have interrupted him for saying dumb shit. I'm not going to interrupt it usually, but I will say, as a streamer, we don't have time to always fucking do that, right? I don't have time to dig through hours and hours of a stream to find like, okay, we're going to now watch the whole 3-hour stream and find this. Now, that said, if there's a subsequent stream where someone's like, oh, here's the clip, that's a bigger clip, here you go, or they email it to me, or if one of you guys sends me an email and they're like, oh, here's the bigger clip, or you send me a tweet, you tag me, you send it to my email, whatever, my Twitter, whatever, I'll check it out. My locals, my locals homies drop it. I'll check it out. And I'll consider it and I'll watch it. But, sometimes you don't have time to go back and watch a whole hour. How much context do you want? And I do think that Asmongold actually did watch the whole thing. I think he watched like 2 minutes of it. So I think it was within that 2-minute context of the conversation. So I don't think that made it necessarily any better of a statement to say.
He follows through, basically packaging this as a Hasan is a radical who must be banned. It's a joke, Lamau, he responds to.
Would you tell that joke about Donald Trump?
I think people would tell way crazier jokes about Donald Trump. And people...
No, they wouldn't. If you said you're going to kill the president, then you're going to get a knock from the Secret Service. Like you would not be... If the number one streamer put out a call and said, we need to, delete a world leader, they're getting a knock in any country, like any country in the world. And in some countries, you're getting thrown into a box for that. In some places you'll get deleted, right? We won't even mention Gonzalo Lira, but let's continue here.
We'll have told way crazier jokes about Donald Trump. My statement was hyperbolic. That much is obviously clear.
I don't know if it was obvious. It wasn't obvious to most people who watched that video. It could have been. Once again, I can accept the fact that he was being very extreme, but in a reckless way, recklessly extreme. And I think you have to take responsibility for being reckless, not just, it was a tad bit hyperbolic.
But the intention of it was not a call to violence directly against a sitting senator, but instead was to show the hypocrisy of the Republican Party in terms of how little they truly care about Medicare and Medicaid fraud, because that happens at the point of the provider and not necessarily in the point of the recipients. They want to cut Medicare and Medicaid for the recipients to the tune of $800 billion. And in order to justify that, they will do everything in their power to lie and claim that it's actually your grandparents that are stealing from Medicare and not people like Rick Scott. I think
okay, but once again, I don't see how that would make it worthwhile to say you should kill him, and even in a hyperbolic way. It's a pretty extreme statement. Let me read here the super chats, and then we got a little bit left on this. JWT 6577 for 5 says, "Be careful petting Destiny on the head. You'll probably test positive for speed." Yeah, and also I don't know what else he uses as shampoo. Like if some of the gooning goo that he gets from his grinder excursions gets stuck in that tangle that's up there. Jordan Kuyath says Destiny is now a lawyer. He officially follows the advice given by lawyers covering a case. Shut up and lay low. Yeah, and listen to your lawyers. Just now he has lawyers. He officially has lawyers. Listen to them. And they probably don't want you streaming on this. Did you talk to them about the fact you're going to stream about your case and talk about the case details? Probably not. They probably wouldn't be happy about that. King Condor for 5 says, if I'm not mistaken, isn't Hasan in Japan right now? Wouldn't all his statements be worse over there? They could be if they were directed at a Japanese citizen. But that said, he's a US based streamer. He's operating through Twitch as a platform. There's a lot of other implications too, not to mention that Twitch, is already on thin ice with its advertisers. Imagine the same this is the same Twitch that, once again, and let's pull this up because this just happened today. We just officially had a declaration from the Department of State that the Houthis, Ansarullah, are a foreign terrorist organization. According to Executive Order 141175, they threaten the security of American civilians and personnel in the Middle East and the safety of our regional partners and the stability of the global maritime trade. The Biden administration did not want to label them as terrorists, but they are indeed labeled now. They also spare Chinese flagships while targeting American vessels. So they're terrorists. So now, it is without any ambiguity that the individual that was brought on there and platformed by Twitch multiple times was indeed a member of a foreign terrorist organization. Yes, that Hasan supports, right? Nahan for 5 says, how bad the punishment is if you threaten a government official in America. Hasan said, this clip is out of context. I don't see you can defend it. Yeah, it's hard to defend. You can be put in jail for that. That is something you could be. Now, whether or not they actually want to do that, once again, it can cause a whole mess of follow-on issues. But if it's really taken as a serious threat of violence, something that you could take, you could take very seriously, or call, to incitement, that is something you could be punished for. They don't always do it. They usually will be, kind of understanding, but they will, they will look at the situation. But that said, it's something you wouldn't mess around with. You could get jail time, real jail time for that. Yeah, people saying it wasn't out of context. I don't think it was out of context either. Super Korean for 20 said Hasan should fight for whatever organization he supports instead of being a coward hiding behind his keyboard. I enlisted in the army right out of high school. Exactly. I mean, if you really fervently believe in these ideological causes, he's a young guy, he's in good shape, right? I mean, he's a big young guy. He can go join and, become a freedom fighter in whatever army he wants to be in. I guess you would say he has more impact as a streamer, but I mean, he could be a freedom fighter streamer who's there on the front lines, Of course, I guess that would be the ultimate stream sniping. If you're out there live streaming combat and, all of a sudden people are like trying to drone strike you live, that would be the ultimate screen hacking. Don't forget Amazon owns Twitch. Oh, I never forget. Neon said the fun fact, they unbanned him today. Yeah. Oyamada says, if he moved to Japan, will he avoid punishment? No, he wouldn't get out of punishment. And once again, if it was threatening a sitting senator, they would extradite you for that. So we talk about Johnny Somali, and they're not going to extradite Johnny Somali over obstruction of business, right? But they will extradite for threatening to kill a politician. That is definitely a thing that you could get extradited for. In fact, there's many people that are extradited for those type of laws all around the world. Tatsumi for 2 said the problem is Asmongold did look at the longer clip. He did. And it was disingenuous for Hasan to imply that he didn't. Ryobi says Hasan has been given so many passes by Twitch. Yeah. And Asmongold is very nice to him, despite him being repeatedly coming for him and trying to make him in this political, he's the Republican and I'm the the communist side. And we're going to argue about this, or he's the right and I'm the left, or whatever it is. Even though I would argue Asmon's pretty centrist, almost normie take, like normie, regular, sane person take. But yeah, the Moon Shadow for 5 says Hasan is the only person that looks worse with context. That's very true. And the Moon Shadow for 2 says Hasan is worth. Thank you. Everyone agrees. Or Sparky's Tech Corner says the same Senator Marco Rubio and a Jewish family were threatened by the same talking points last month. There was an arrest. Ooh, great point. Yeah, Asmon calls himself left. Well, yeah, milquetoast, centrist. Yeah, mostly just like a logical centrist. But rent-free in Hasan's head for sure, without a doubt. It's crazy. There was an arrest. So that just shows you there could have been an arrest here. There very well could have been an arrest here. Let me see. Okay. So someone wants me to watch this video. So whoever just email me the video on the context to the, let's see, is this 18 minutes? Okay, it's kind of long. It's kind of a long explanation. How about this? Someone sent me a video of, I think, Cinna like going through the explanation. I will watch this on my own time, whoever sent me that, and I will watch it, and I'll have like another comment on it on my next time, because I want to have some time to look at that full video. 18 minutes is a long video. So I'll look through that, and if it's good, we'll watch it in a future stream. But thank you for sending that over. I don't want to dox your name, but thank you for sending that over to me. Yeah, it's the Yahoo account. Thank you for sending it to me. All right. And then Sigrun for 5 says, I'm pretty sure there's a video of Hasan demonstrating his martial art prowess, and he does Olympus kicks I've seen against the helpless fellow. No, not my Daki Makara. No. You can't beat up my Rima Daki like that.
No. Wait.
Is the FBI looking into Hasan? I don't know. I mean, they might be after that. Who knows? I mean, maybe they're investigating it. I mean, to be honest, with a lot of those content creators, I would be worried about the funding they received and, any USAID trails or any other sort of things like that, any money they may have taken from certain organizations. I'd be a little concerned about that. But anyways, transitioning, we also have, related to Hasan, and this is the last thing I want to cover. We had a response from Connor to pretty much the pushback on Trash Taste. If you guys don't know, Hasan was brought on Trash Taste by Connor in the midst of all of this tragedy. I believe it may have been before the Rick Scott comments, but it was not before all the other things he said, all the other controversies he's amongst, and a lot of the other problems he's had, which are very visible, which were put out there by Ethan's Content Nuke, which is millions of views, by other Twitch streamers, people like, once again, Asmongold's talked about it, a lot of people have talked about it, Destiny's talked about it. So it's been out there on multiple platforms, but Connor decided to respond regarding the controversy of Hasan and bring him on Trash Taste, like so. Let me show you this one here. All right, where is it? Here we go.
Well, I told Hasan as well. I was like, hey, look, the show is not political. We don't want to deal with politics. We're most likely not going to have you on again. No, and that's not like anything like, hey man, it's just like, look, we don't want to fucking deal with politics. I think the Trash Taste viewers also don't fucking want to deal with intense fucking comments. It sucks to read. People just getting fucking upset as shit about it. And I know some like fans of Hasan will be annoyed about that. But I just told them, I was like, look, at the end of the day, we don't want to invite like a fucking shit show to the comments. And I think it was ignorant on our part to think that if we just didn't talk about politics, that it would stay out of it. Because that was our thinking, because we already had him on once and it was fine. But some people were angry about it. But yeah, I mean, it was ignorant on our part to think that, if you didn't talk about politics, it wouldn't matter. But yeah, a lot of things have changed in 2 years. I don't keep up with what's going on. I get all of my news from the BBC. I don't go on Twitter. I uninstall.
BBC is BBC as a news source. There's some questions about BBC as a news source. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I think all of us were kind of blindsided by it. So it was kind of, a lot of people like they're out of touch. I'm like, I guess, like, I think that's safe to say if being in touch is living on Twitter and engaging with politics 24/7, because we just don't do that. We've never done that. I think that it's unhealthy. I feel like the level of vitriol is almost like at a point that is so like toxic to everyone involved.
That's like the key buzzword is toxic. But yeah, I'll let him finish.
That I have no wish to engage with it.
Okay, so a lot of things going on there with that. First of all, oh boy. Okay. So, and I had some response to this on X, but I'll just, mirror it here. By the way, Sparky, I got your clip you sent on X. Thank you for sending that. It's a news network, but I'll watch that myself. But thank you for sending it. But anyways, about Connor's take there, a couple things. First of all, everybody knew Hasan was a political dude. He's been doing political commentary forever, even arguably longer than he's a streamer. And I would argue that probably what the real issue is they're probably like friends. They probably are like inner Twitch circle friends, right? Because they're all in this like big Twitch content creator friend circle. And he probably just was like, hey, I'm going to invite my bro on. Right. And, like we're bros. They probably, once again, I don't think I'm assuming too much, but they probably have generally the same, SoCal light type Twitch circle. So the Twitch bubble, you might say. And they said, hey, we wanted to have him on. And I like him. I want to have him on. I don't have a problem with his politics, probably agrees with his politics. And then there was pushback. And then it became political. And then it was, oh, we don't want politics. Because if you invite Hasan on, there's really it's very difficult to make it non-political. It would be like inviting a politician on and then only purely talking to them about anime and not expecting any comment about their politics. It's going to be very difficult. Now, you could take the kind of Joe Rogan approach. If I talk to everybody, I don't really care, whatever, right? I'll talk to people like left, right, center, whatever. You can take that approach. Or you can say, hey, we're not going to get ourselves involved in a situation where this person is really highly political, controversial, and maybe anime fans don't want that right now. But I don't think he was unaware. So I don't think it's possible that he was unaware that Hasan was political. I don't think that's possible. With mainly the content he's been doing, I mean, he really didn't rise up as a gamer, as someone who had gaming prowess or whatever else. It was, largely due to his political commentary, being Chenk's nephew. So saying that, okay, we didn't want it, we didn't know it would go there, hard to say. Saying that you didn't know there was any controversy, completely impossible to be true, because even Dan Clancy has brought up multiple times the Hasan controversies, right? It's something that nearly caused a complete adpocalypse on Twitch. There was definitely a lot of advertisers that have left Twitch. There's a lot of monetization there that has dropped off, but it's something that's been known on multiple platforms, not just X. And to try to put it on Twitter/X as the sole bad place, I think it's a little misleading, disingenuous, and perhaps even a little bit political, because it's trying to say X, the naughty Elon place versus, other places that are fine. I mean, I think the real issue was on YouTube, getting unsubscribes and getting comments on people that were pushing back. X is X, but YouTube is where your video was. So I think that's really where the main impact was. So that's my take. I don't think it was smart for him to come back out and handle it in that way. I don't think it helped. And in the light of everything that went down, I think it's really bad and unfortunate timing, especially since he was just banned too. So, it looks even worse to respond amongst that. Super says they really shouldn't have, but it's a nothing burger. I think that was about the earlier topic. Tatsumi from 5 says BBC was funded by USAID and should be defunded by the government. Yeah, BBC is not. That's a very questionable news source. Inori says BBC is a news source. Houston, we found the problem. Yeah. The journalistic integrity of the BBC, very questionable. Very questionable. Let's see here. Mayhem for 5 says, I have a feeling they were just ignorant in how much he was hated. And the thing is, he probably isn't hated in their Twitch circle. Their Twitch circle loves them. And the creators are probably all fine because generally, ideologically, they're of that same mind, right? So, I don't think that it would be a stretch to say that ideologically, they're closer to ideologically, the Twitch creators that Connor probably hangs out with and associates with are probably ideologically closer to Hasan than they are to Asmongold, if we're going to make that big comparison. And I don't think that's unfair to say. So I think that they probably didn't see much of a problem with it. They probably didn't even understand as much of the pushback. And also there's a good point. Someone said on there, he's probably less political offline. Yeah, definitely. Look, if you're hanging out with somebody, even if they are like a politics dude or whatever, they're not going to be talking politics all day, every day. They're probably going to talk about other stuff. I have friends that are content creators, and when we're offline, we don't talk about content creation all the time. When I would hang out with my friend Legal Vices, RIP to the Vices, my good friend Jeff, we didn't talk about, streaming all the time. Yeah, we talked a little bit about it, but no more than you talk about anything else that you did. We actually talked about other parts of our life, traveling, good whiskeys, Korea, the US, other stuff like that. We didn't talk about, streaming all the time. Mayhem also said, to be fair, X is toxic, so is every other social media. Exactly. And if you just wanted to leave it at social media, I'm okay with that, right? Social media does have inherent problems and inherent addictive qualities, which are worse than drugs. That is absolutely true. Pat sent me for £5 says, I had to pay for a TV license. My money is going to that trash. It's true. Oh, I feel so bad for my British homies that are all funding the BBC with that TV license. Nahan, the Ace Combat Enjoyer, says for $5, I got feeling as long as they keep people like Hasan, it's going to drag a lot of attention to the government, and it will nuke the entire platform and affect other content creators. Exactly. And it's going to come to a point where it's reckless for the platform. But the thing is, it's owned by Amazon. So Amazon has proven, if anything, that they can bleed a lot of money. Now, I will say Jeff Bezos did have that moment, or that Bezos based moment. So like where he kind of switched over and made that statement about the Washington Post. Like, did you guys see this comment by Jeff Bezos? So I'm wondering if Jeff Bezos is reading the tea leaves. Have you guys seen this post? So, and I don't think he's based. I'll explain what's happening here. This is Jeff Bezos saying, I shared this note with the Washington Post team. I'm writing you to let you know about a change coming to our opinion pages. We're going to be writing every day in support and defense of two pillars: personal liberties and free markets. We'll cover other topics too, of course, but viewpoints opposing those pillars will be left to be published by others. I don't think Bezos is based. I think Netflix Foreign is right about here. I think he's reading the tea leaves. I think he's reading the zeitgeist, and he's saying like, this is, yeah, Danielle, my mod, it's economically wise. I think he's just being corporate. He's just saying, yeah, I'm seeing a trend here, and we want to capitalize on this because it makes money. And he's seeing this is where the money is for the next 4 years. So we're writing free speech and personal liberty grift for the next 4 years. And I think he probably is very mad that he went and paid so much money for Lord of the Rings and ended up getting dog shit. I mean, I genuinely think he might be mad about that. I mean, I would be mad about that after paying an ungodly amount for this intellectual property, and you completely butcher it. It's bad. It's real bad. Bezos doesn't give a shit about politics. Yeah. Super Korean for 10 says, I firmly believe that most wealthy people are more right-leaning than they let on. Yes, they are. There's a reason the Soviets referred to liberals as useful idiots. Yes. No, they are. They just can't say it because a lot of the tax deductions, for example, that might be pushed by the relatively conservative parties and wings are going to benefit higher income earners. That's just the way it works, right? Self-employed individuals or large income earners, it's going to benefit them generally. Iverson Nightfall for 50 Norwegian krona says, on the topic of absolutely nothing, are there any YouTube lawyers covering the DEI lawsuits hitting IBM, AT&T? I'm not aware of anybody who covers that. I mean, to be honest, when I think of DEI, usually that's Kirsha, and she's not a lawyer. But let's see. I don't really think many people are covering it. To be honest, with a lot of the YouTube lawyers, they either will cover very, very popular topics And there might be some smaller channels, because there are some like small channels that might be covering that, but they're not any of the larger law tuber channels, at least not the ones that I know. I can't think of any right off the top of my head. Now, I've covered some of that, but yeah, Based Cherry Call. Yeah, Kirsha's a lawyer now. She's a VTuber lawyer. Based Fox, yes. But yeah, she's the one who usually has been covering that. She's been very diligent about that. There's so many lawsuits, and the thing is, they're kind of not sexy to cover, because when you cover those topics, and I've covered them before, the problem is there isn't like these faces on them that of famous people, right? It's not one single person. Although we might say might put Soros up there or somebody like that. But I mean, Soros is about to, enter the crypt, very, very soon. He's a very old man. It's hard to put faces of evil on this, like an Epstein type evil on DEI. Which makes it hard to cover from a narrative standpoint, because as humans, we want a narrative. We want somebody to blame. But it got so many people that are part of the system that make these choices on a routine basis, which are harmful to companies and they're harmful to countries, right? So I think that merit ultimately should be colorblind. And I think that's the best and most fair and most just thing around the world. But in being colorblind, there are objective standards. So, an objective standard of, you need to be able to code to be a coder. You need to be able to lift, 200 pounds to be a firefighter, whatever the standard is, right? You need to, understand engineering to be an engineer. You need to know about the human body to be a doctor. You need to know how to land a plane to be a pilot. I think those are good things. And I think having objective standards is not something that's evil or racist or sexist or ableist. I just think that is a general good for society, right? Kathleen Kennedy, she's supposedly leaving Star Wars. We'll see when she leaves. Zephyr Theory says, I find it surprising they had so little knowledge of Hasan's political controversies, which is bad. It's bordering on getting the government involved. No, there's no way they didn't know. In fact, on that same stream, if you listen to Connor, he says on that stream, I was afraid of having you on. If he didn't know, why was he afraid of having him on? It's a really good question. Why were you so afraid of having Hasan on if you didn't know about anything? Maybe what he meant was, I didn't know how bad it was, or maybe he's like, I didn't take it seriously, but there's no way he didn't know that at that moment Hasan was a pretty controversial figure and was, kind of being exposed or put out in the light for a lot of behaviors. He means he knew. Yeah, he definitely he knew to an extent. It's impossible to not know. Bad News Badger for DK27. My politics view is whether ever I make the most money, wherever I make the most money. Yeah, that's based. You know what? I got you, bro.
I'm not sorry, and I did nothing wrong.
It's okay to make money. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. NZ for 5 says Bezos didn't change team or anything. He and all the others are still team billionaire ago where the money is. The editor of the Washington Post opinion columns resigned, right? So I think the chief editor resigned. Right? But other than that, yes. I mean, the apparatus that made all these things happen, the core leadership is all still there. That hasn't changed at all. So yeah, that's still a problem. Still a problem. All right. Well, that's what we have for today. So guys, smash that like button. If you send me an email or some follow-up information, know that I will look at it. Once again, I don't like to be ever considered that I'm not thinking of all sides. And just because my take today is leaning one way or leaning another, doesn't mean it's necessarily intractable from being convinced or swayed with further evidence, just like in any case, just like with any other presentation of evidence or information, right? But that said, I wanted to comment on those things because these are all topics that you, the audience, asked me to cover over the last 24 to 48 hours. I hope to see you on my next stream. It will be Johnny Somali related. I do owe you guys a VTuber stream. If I can slip that in, I will. That we'll have a VTuber centric theme where we're just going to go unhinged, Minhara VTuber stuff. So that will happen in the future. But until next time, guys, enjoy. And I'll leave you with a little bit of the
Long, long,